Welcome, everyone. I'm Mike Mershazadeh.
And I'm Ashley Ward.
And you're listening to the What Matters podcast, and our mission
to spotlight top RIAs, wealth managers, and investment professionals who are redefining wealth management.
Join us as we dive into their journey, strategies, and insights.
Whether you're an investor or an inspiring pro, this is for you.
Get ready for impactful conversations on the What Matters podcast. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the What Matters podcast. I'm Mike Mershazadeh.
And I'm Ashley Ward.
Today, we're excited to sit down with Jason Sirotak. I hope I pronounced that correctly. A seasoned financial advisor at WestPoint Financial Group.
Jason began his journey in the financial services industry in 1999, right after graduating from Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, with a degree in business and a major in finance.
Since then, he's earned several prestigious designations and has built a reputation for helping families plan for retirement, manage college savings, and navigate financial milestones with confidence.
Jason's dedication has earned him recognition as one of Cincinnati Magazine's 5-star wealth managers every year from 2012, for the past 12 years there to 2024. Just a designation based on peer nominations and rigorous criteria.
He lives in Cincinnati with his wife, Kelly, and he is a girl dad there with 3 daughters. And outside of the office, you'll find him enjoying sports and family time.
Well, Jason, we're very excited to have you on the show with us today. Thanks so much for taking time with us and, right before you head off to Italy this summer.
Well, thank you for having me. I've been listening to a few of the podcasts that you guys have up on YouTube. And you guys have provided some excellent content, and I've benefited from some of the content that you have out there. So I'm excited to join you today.
Well, that's great to hear. Thank you so much, Jason. So, let's just jump right in. We want to hear a little bit about you and your practice and your journey in this industry. So can you share with us and our listeners, a little bit about what led you to this industry and wealth management, financial services? I mean, you started right out of college.
Yes, I did start right out of college, and while I was in college as a finance major, I just found an interest in growing money, and I was reading Money Magazine when I was in college, and whatever I could scrimp up and save working summer jobs, I would buy stocks with, and so that's when I was thinking about what I would do after I graduated. Becoming a financial advisor was, the first thing that I wanted to do, and especially being able to build a business and have kind of the entrepreneurial bent to, control my own destiny. That was something that I was excited about, and helping other people, build their financial plan and grow their own financial independence. So that's where I started at New England Financial. After I graduated from college, I started with a class of 15 college graduates, and that was back in the day where companies would bring in, big classes of people aspiring to be financial advisors. And after just 18 months to 2 years, I was the only one out of 15 left. So I was, my mentality at that point when I started was, I just want my business card in 5 years to have the same name, same phone number, same email address. And if I can do that, I'll be headed in the right direction. So
that's awesome.
That's how things got started.
It's funny. We actually just had a guest on the other day, and I hadn't heard this statistic before, but he said, the industry, it has the retention rate is about like 18 or 19%. Like that many people drop out early on.
Yep. You're absolutely right. And I saw that around me. And so I just thought, don't ever fire yourself. If somebody else does, because a lot of people quit when, maybe they could have made it later on. So, that was my initial goal, is just to survive. And, 20 plus years later, I'm very, very happy to, still be excited about going to work every day, which is a pretty awesome thing to have.
Oh, that is awesome.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about your firm there. From what I've looked at there, you guys, there's Is it you, one other partner, and one other individual there? How many total teammates do you have?
Yes, so we're part of WestPoint Financial Group, who, our broker dealer is MML Investors, owned by Mass Mutual. But as far as my personal team, it's me and my partner Nick Otto, and we have our operations manager Michelle Graham. So the me and my partner Nick Otto are the primary financial advisors for the clients of our team.
Real cool. And let me ask you this: you've been at MML for was it 12 or 20 years there?
Well, we started with New England Financial, who after a number of years was then was purchased by MetLife, which then a number of years later was purchased by Mass Mutual's broker dealer. And so
Gotcha.
I've never moved myself, but the broker dealer has changed over the years, and so I'm still technically in the same spot that I started many years ago.
Oh, so you were part of the MetLife crew, but before that it was New England.
Correct. Yep.
Oh, real cool.
Yep.
And let me ask you this: what have you over the years grown your book, your AUM to, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah. So today our assets under management for my team sits at just over $250 million.
Oh, good for you.
Mm-hmm. And that's
yeah.
So you and your partner Nick, right?
Yep. Between me and my partner Nick. Yep.
Awesome. So when did you and Nick really team up?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I had started my own practice and had been building my own business for a number of years. And actually Nick is married to my cousin, and so I knew Nick from some family get-togethers and things like that. And Nick was actually a high school teacher, and one of the classes that he taught was personal finance. And he found a real passion and interest in personal finance, and he actually reached out to me one day and said, "Hey, I've been teaching personal finance and really want to help people in a more personal way." And knowing Nick, I knew that he had his primary motive was genuinely helping people, and I thought he had great talent and would be great in our business. But at that point, this was a number of years ago, my business, I didn't feel like was to the point where I needed another advisor on my team. And so, but I knew Nick would make a great teammate. And so what do? I found another advisor in our office who was, approaching retirement age. And I, said, "Hey, I think I found somebody that would make a great teammate. What if we were part of your succession plan?" And, that would give Nick and I more clients to take on if we, purchase his book of business when he retires. And so that was the plan. And Nick left his job and started a 6-month training program where he got licensed and learned a lot about the business. And then shortly after we started working with, the other senior advisor, it became apparent that it wasn't a great fit for either one of us. And so that part ended, pretty quickly. And then, Nick was with me and he had left his job, and I thought, we're going to make this work. I don't think I would have brought him on board without the potential business success and opportunity, but he was there and we had to make it work. And actually, it was a tremendous learning experience for me because of, the complementary skills and basically the same vision that Nick and I had. Us working together, I didn't really have to take a step back in adding him, and we really started growing from there. And so, and that was a big turning point in my career.
Mm-hmm. And so what year was that?
That was about 11 years ago.
Okay.
Wow.
Fantastic. And so,
go for it, Ashley. Sorry about that.
Oh, I was just going to say, you and Nick, you've been, working together now for 11 years and building this. And I mean, Nick building from scratch, that's awesome. And so,
Oh, oh, sorry about that.
so, you and Nick started working together, partnered together 11 years ago. You've now built up to, 250 million AUM. It's you two. You have, another operational team member. What's to come? And, we'll say, the next 5 years, but even the more shorter term, where do we see, you guys going there? What's your ambitions with your team over there?
Yeah. So, as far as our team goes, it's, I think that we're going to have a lot of opportunities to having Nick as a partner. He really is, he's a CFP himself. He's a ChFC. He does a fantastic job, and we work really well together. But I think when we look forward over the next couple of years, as our team potentially may expand further, I think a lot of more of my time needs to be in making sure that we have the right apparatus to add other advisors to our team, other administrative staff, and that sort of thing. When we're smaller like we are now, it's a lot easier to make sure everyone's on the same page and moving in the right direction. But as that potentially gets bigger, I need to make sure that my leadership is up to the task as far as that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And let me ask you this, with, I know being under the MML system, when you mentioned it earlier, when there is, advisors retiring, had you guys looked to taking on any of those books, or is, you've been doing most, if not all, the growth organically?
So that's a great question. So up to this point, all of the growth has been organic, and we really don't do, much as far as marketing and business development. Our philosophy, really since the beginning, has been to put 100% of our effort into meeting all of your clients' needs and providing excellent service for your clients. And if you're doing that, they will introduce you, to your next client. And so all of our growth pretty much to this point has been, focusing our clients, and our clients refer us to people. And so there was a 2-year stint in there where we were part of the Dave Ramsey SmartVestor Pro program, and that was about 8 years ago. And so we did get some introductions and leads as part of the Dave Ramsey program. But other than that, it's all been organic. And but when we look forward, as you guys know, some of the statistics from our industry is that, I think it's somewhere around half or more of the advisors today are age 60 or older. So that does present an opportunity for Nick and I, as we still have a long road in front of us, that there are a lot of advisors and opportunities from a business succession standpoint. And I do think that is going to be things that we're looking at, how we can grow from that standpoint over the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, it actually, the average age in our industry for an advisor is 60 years and 6 months old.
Oh, wow.
60 years and 5 months old. I apologize. That's the average. So, if you take individuals that are actually back into their 20s and 30s and even
Right.
40s, then that still leaves some individuals that are in their 70s, that are in the industry right still. So
it's going to be very interesting to see how that unfolds, over the next 5 to 10 years, because there is going to be, a lot of opportunities. And so, when I mentioned earlier about, over the next couple years, my leadership as far as opportunities like that, those are the types of things that I'm preparing for and thinking about.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you said a great point there. I mean, it's a great opportunity for advisors who are looking for new business and to take over the succession of another person's book, but then also a great opportunity for new advisors who are, just entering the industry. Do you think that you guys are planning to bring on anyone more to your team in the near future, or is that maybe more down the road? Do you think that focusing on acquiring a book is more in your guys's framework there for your goals in the next coming years?
Yeah, I think, if there was an acquisition, we would certainly be looking to add, and there are some, opportunities like that on the horizon. So but it, you can't count on those things until they're actually right in front of you. So that's kind of where we're at as far as adding new people is if some of those opportunities come to fruition.
Mhm.
Yeah. And let me ask you this: when it comes to the organic side of it, what are you or have you ever grown advisors from the ground up?
So Nick would be the one, because he came into our team without financial experience. So that was from the ground up, but that was 10, 11 years ago. But it worked very, very, very well, and he was perfect for it. And so I think if we could replicate that again, that would be great for our clients and great for our team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you know what I always say when it comes down to it is when the replication comes in. Ashley and I, we've been working together for 7 or 8 years, and we've had this what is this tripod of training people.
Mhm.
And what I always say to them is, don't ask me questions. Come in and you're just going to watch what I do, and I'm just going to hand things off to you. And within the
Yep.
course of a couple of years, you're going to understand how to do it.
Yep.
And it's just basically putting them to work day one almost, right?
Right. Exactly.
And so with where you're at right now, and getting the wallet share of the business, are you taking over business from individuals that whose money you've been managing? Are you getting more of their money, or are you getting their family's money to increase your book there?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, we're getting a lot of, we've had a lot of clients that are retiring, and so a lot of 401k rollovers. So, from that standpoint, we've got clients that are, adding a lot to our management because they're retiring, and so we're seeing a lot of that. So, in addition to, we're adding new clients on a very regular basis as well.
Mm-hmm.
What did you guys, if you don't mind me asking, what did you guys add for the year of 2024, and what are you projected to add for the year of 2025?
As far as assets or clients?
Both.
Okay. So, yeah, as far as, net new assets for the year, we're over the last 12 months, we're at about 15 million of net new assets.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
And we're adding about, one to two new clients a month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
and that's really just what, by word of mouth, by referrals.
Yep, that's all word of mouth and referrals, 100%.
Wow.
And I am curious. So, from your perspective, 11 years ago, you had
Mhm.
brought over Nick to work with you. You see a lot. There comes a point, a lot of advisors where they start to team up, right, and building their own practice within the umbrella.
Mhm.
What do you think are some of those, times when I guess I can't think of the word to say it, but at what point do you think that advisors really start to think about I'm going to be more successful and it's going to be more beneficial for me to work with a team or create a team with me versus doing this all on my own? Do you think that what characteristics make up that? Is that you get to a certain point of AUM and you're like, I can't seem to get over this threshold, or I can't handle all this business by myself? What do you think really becomes the tipping point to when people start that journey as a team?
Yeah. So that's a great question. I think that when advisors do look at building a team, I think that, if there's an area of expertise that they have that they're looking for someone to supplement, maybe they're focused on business owners and they're not as much in the personal financial planning market. So those are the types of scenarios that I think teaming up matters. Or there's some advisors that focus on retirement plans, and they could use somebody that kind of work with them on personal planning for some of the participants in the plans that they work with from that standpoint. But I've seen how teams work together from when I started, even with Nick 11 years ago, is from kind of the channels that I'm in with MML, is teams were a lot of times just splitting revenue, and they were working together as a team. But I actually read a book about 5 or 6 years ago called Succession Planning for Financial Advisors. It was from FP Transitions, and they help they do a lot of consulting for financial advisor teams. And the idea behind the book and the big takeaway for me was to, create a separate LLC where Nick and I, would both be shareholders and members of the LLC, and then have everything kind of flow through the LLC. And then the teammates that you're working with, the goal is to grow the business, and what's in the best interest of your clients first, but B, people are performing roles and providing service that helps the business. And so there are different ways that I see advisors just have they set up the infrastructure of their business, that I think when you have one LLC and people are working together under that, it helps everyone moving in the same direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this: when you take a look at what's going on, in the industry right now, with private equity getting involved and deal multiples being higher, and I think especially with where the market is with tariffs overall, and I think I asked 3 questions in one, but where do you see the market going? Do you think that with the tariffs things are going to continue to run on a treadmill, or do you see some uncertainty on the horizon? And I won't pin you to that, and we can mark
Right.
Well,
Right. Well, I think that with what we're seeing in AI in the fast adoption that businesses are utilizing AI, so we're basically going to go from about 18 months ago, I think about 4% of businesses were utilizing AI in the production of products and delivering of services. And within about 20 months, that's going to go from 4% to 12%. And so I think that there's the potential that we're going to see a rise in the labor productivity rate because of that, which I think could have the potential to be a boost for the economy and stocks as well. But you mentioned private equity, and I think that that's one of the other big changes that I've seen in my career, is that a number of years ago, private equity was something that was only available to pensions, really high net worth individuals, and we've seen that entry point come way down the last couple of years. And so I think investors being able to access private equity, private credit, direct lending, venture capital, all of those types of investments, I'm very excited that we can offer those to more people now than at any point in my career.
Yeah. And one of the questions I had for you is what advice would you give to new advisors entering the field today?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think that it's it was hard for me when when I started a long time ago, and trying to start your business from scratch. So I think for young advisors that want to get into this business, if they can find a team to join where there's already a level of success on that team, and where there's the the potential to be a real additive to the service of that team. And if you're already on a successful team and you make them better, there's just so many opportunities that are going to come your way. So I think that you have to, have a shared vision for the team that you join, and have kind of a shared culture, and have, you have to kind of see things the same way. And when you do, I think there's tremendous opportunities that are going to come out of that.
Yeah, I think it's a great point, and almost it's like mentorship in this industry. It's very valuable. It's it's how you're going to get started. So I feel like many of our guests say similar things. It's find a team, work together. Can't do it alone. Otherwise, you'll be one of those that drops out in the train.
Right. Yep. Exactly.
Jason, let me ask you this: what do you think, as opposed to when you got started in the industry, and the way that the dynamics are now with newer advisors getting introduced to the industry? What's the difference that you see there?
Yeah. That's a great question. I think that
and can I rephrase that? Because when you said that when you got started, there was this, how many people, ended up at the end of the finish line, right?
Right.
Do you think that number is greater or less than now?
I think companies are less willing to bring on, the army of people that they used to, and just see who sticks. And so I don't know if companies are really doing that the way that they did many years ago. So I think by that very nature, they're being more selective, and they're recruiting people into more opportunities to succeed than they did, when I started.
Yeah. The vetting process has gotten tighter.
It has. It has. Yes, absolutely. So.
Well, Jason, I think that wraps up our conversation today. Thank you so much again for joining us on the show. It's been great chatting with you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure to be on, and I really enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you, Jason.
And to all of our listeners, thanks for joining us on another episode of the What Matters podcast. We'll see you next time with more stories from people shaping the future of financial services. Until then, take care and keep asking what really matters. Thanks, everyone.